Can you continue with that?
Say it one more time.
Never wrestle yourself out of the place where God has placed you.
Yeah, there's a quote that says, blossom where you're planted. No matter where you are, blossom. Meaning that, you know, there's certain seeds and certain fruits and certain flowers that flourishes in different environments. So what I mean by not wrestling in an environment where God's placed you is that oftentimes we focus more on the circumstances than the purpose of the circumstances. We focus more on, well, why is it so tough? Why is it so painful? Instead of, God, why do you have me here? Right now, where you at, where you work right now, you're planted there. I know some of us want to leave, but let me tell you something. When God placed me at the YMCA, I didn't know he placed me for a future purpose. That there were times where I was like trying to leave the Y to try to fulfill my mission. God said, no, stay in the Y. So I went from Siskiyou down to Dow, and I'm like, why are you planting me down here? To the time where the CEO of the YMCA gave me a medallion. The second or third in command is like, we want to hear about your programs. It's crazy now. It makes sense in time. I tell people, let God tell you to move or to stay. That doesn't mean you stay in certain situations that's detrimental to your health. So you can manage your job if you go to bed at the right time. I'm talking to myself. If you eat the right things, you can manage the stresses of your life if you do what you need to do to take care of yourself. But if you're in a relationship with a person that's abusive, you got to go. If there's certain things you're in, I'm not saying there's God, I think he the one. You don't got to wait. If that's not where God planted you, the goal is to know if God planted you there. The Bible says he won't put no more on you than you can bear. The problem is we put more on ourselves than we can bear. So what happens is, I can eat, Israel. When I go make a plate, I fill that joker up, right? Sometimes my stomach's like, bro, that's too much. But because we try to fill the plate. Just because you have a big plate don't mean you have to have the food to match the plate itself. You got to still proportion it. You still have to proportion your meals, don't matter how big the plate is. So what happens is we got this time, 24-hour plate, and we just jam it full with stuff. And we wonder why we're so stressed at the end. God said, I didn't put that on you. I didn't tell you to be with that person. I didn't tell you to eat that. I didn't tell you to do all that. You put that on yourself. So you got to know for a fact, God, did you place me here? If you're at work, you're there. So you placed. So now you just got to blossom until it's time to go. Because oftentimes God will put you in a place to hold you. Number one, to keep you from going beyond a certain time frame. And number two, that's when the right person is supposed to connect with you anyway. So what happens is, number one is he plants you in a place knowing this will slow Joshua down. If I was working Unplugged full time, I would have been out there getting this paper, Marquita. I would have been out there getting it, right? But my character wasn't able to sustain that. So he says, get that boy a job. Get that boy a job. Make sure he's not paid enough to branch out from his ministry. Make sure he doesn't make enough money to try to be, try to take over the world. Put him somewhere that's going to pull back his zeal. Because I was such a zealous dude, I want to go out there and take the world immediately. At 14, I was ready to go. Number two, you got to be understanding that, what was I said number two was? Because you never know, that might be the place where you need to meet your next contact. Listen, if I was at Siskiyou, I would have never met these CEOs. I see them every day. There was a Bentley, pearly white Bentley and Maseratis out there in that car. And I'm like, these guys, I didn't know who drove it until one day I saw the dude that I always help comes out that Bentley. I'm not saying we're supposed to connect right now, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? You need me to get the whip real quick? I got you, but sometimes God places you for future connections. And if you get out of there too soon, if I was all the way out there in Matthews, I would have never met the people I'm meeting now, or who knows what I'm about to be set up for in the future. So that's what I meant about not being wrestled too soon out of a place that God's planted you. If God placed you there, there's a purpose in the placement. If you place yourself there or you put too much on your plate, that's where you got to go to God and say, God, what should I remove off this plate? Keep the greens on there. Keep the veggies and stuff on there. But remove all them carbs. Keep one on there. Keep one chicken on there. Protein. Just joking. Let's get that pressure.